Hello and welcome to Evolve by Erica, the podcast. I am Erica Polsinelli, your host, and we are here to talk about all things spiritual, 5D, ascension, and beyond. Welcome. I'm so happy you are here. Come on in. Today, I'm so excited because I have someone really, really special to me as our guest today on the podcast. Her name is Kelly, and she's just such a beam of light, a special person, and she's been part of Evolve since the start and has such an amazing story to tell. So I'm excited for her to share with you her journey and now her journey into motherhood, spirituality, yoga, all of the things. So I want to welcome Kelly.
Thank you, Erica. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. So we've met, 3 or 4 years ago at this point?
I think almost 3.
3 years ago,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I want you to share a little bit about your journey and just your overall life before meditation, before yoga.
Okay. Oh boy. So before I started, getting into Kundalini and doing yoga meditation, I was a really big party girl. I was very into some recreational things, for lack of a better word. I partied a lot in college. I wasn't very sure of myself. And then I think it was around 2019 was when I found you. I was, really working on like my physical body. And then I just felt like something was missing. So I needed like another piece of something. And I started following you through like some girl that I know, someone's husband or something, and then I saw you in Baked by the Ocean. And I was like, oh my God, John, that's her. And he's like, who? I'm like, in Cal. He's like, oh my God. I was like, I think
but
it's a sign.
But you didn't say hi, did you?
No.
Okay. I'm like, I don't remember this.
I didn't say hi.
I wish you did.
No. So then I just remember being in summer school because I'm a teacher, and I was in the gym, like walking with my class, and I messaged you and I was like, hey, I'd love to try whatever you're doing. And then it was all history from there. I mean, I think that the biggest thing that you have helped me with is my my Xanax addiction. I think that was like one of the main reasons I wanted to come to you, was because I was doing so well with my outside physical body, but like my internal and what I was like putting in my body was not okay. Because I would take an Adderall and then I would take a Xanax to level out the anxiety from the Adderall, and then I get tired, so then I'd have to take more, and it was this whole like roller coaster cycle. And now that I'm on the other side of it, I'm like, did I even really need any of those things?
Yeah.
Like, I wish that when I was younger, I had these tools that you have given me, that I wish I had those when I was younger, so I could have used them instead of, destroying my body with things that, really shouldn't have been in it. And those things are just like a Band-Aid. They don't fix things in the long run. And I think that the most important part of my journey is that I was able to get off of those prescription drugs without having to go to like rehab or do any of those things, which is totally okay. But I just I didn't really think I had a problem.
Yeah.
And it was like for me, and I just saw like, this isn't working.
Yeah. It's so powerful. And I remember you sharing this with me, like where you were before the practice, and then, diving into it and then being able to like find this power within you. And I just want to say for all listeners, there is absolutely a time and a place for Western medicine. And if you're on Western medicine or you take prescription drugs, we're not here to tell you anything other than what your doctor is advising you to do or what your intuition is telling you to do. But it is so cool because I think, and I share this all the time, very often in our society, we look outside ourselves and we don't think we could possibly be this powerful to be able to really heal ourselves, whether it's emotionally, physically, whatever, spiritually, whatever it may be. And I love how you were truly able to do that. And you, for me, and the reason why we have this deep connection is because I saw the potential of what this practice could do. I saw what it did for me. And then you were like the first person to like prove to me like, okay, like outside of myself, like, oh, wow, this is working for someone else and in big, humongous ways. And that helped me to push forward and be like, okay, Kelly has such an unbelievable success story. Like I need to continue to bring this to more people. So as much as you think I helped you, you've helped me tremendously. And that's where like that ripple effect begins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really powerful.
It really is. I remember like thinking like, this is silly. Like maybe this won't work. And then, you know,
everyone has that moment. Our ego comes in for a minute, like, wait a minute.
And then it started to work. And I literally haven't taken a Xanax in almost 3 years. And that was like my biggest thing that I wanted to get off of. And I haven't even like wanted to touch it or nothing. Like now I know my breath is always there. If I need to sit down on the ground and touch the floor and just really breathe, like I can just do those things. Yeah. And if people think it's weird, then I don't know. That's fine with me.
I know.
And then I bring a lot of that stuff into my classroom. And then now that I have a son, I hope to teach him a lot of these tools so that he has them if he ever needs them.
That's so amazing. So tell us a little bit about like your spiritual awakening journey and where it led you to.
Oh boy. Well, definitely led me to where I am right now, literally in this moment. I feel like starting with you was definitely, you know, it was crazy. I was experiencing all these weird things. I think I told you like the tingling and like this energy just like bursting out of my head.
And then you had to start wearing a headpiece.
And I started to wear a headpiece. I find like a beanie is much better than the headband because it covers like the whole thing. And then I told you the other day about the rocking side to side and back and forth.
The pendulum. She activated that within herself.
And that was that was more recently. That didn't used to happen all the time. But the head tingling was something that happened like right away.
Yeah.
And I think that it literally just led me to where I am right now. And I don't think that I would have any of the things that I have now without this practice. And I think the main thing is my son. I had a miscarriage back, you know, during the pandemic. So that was I was doing yoga teacher training. I didn't know I wanted to have a baby. We got pregnant. I was so excited and I was very naive because I didn't know, I didn't even think like this could possibly not work out. Right. So I was like, you know, the doctor was like, the second you pee on the stick, you're like, where's the baby going to go to school? How are we going to decorate the room? He's like, all these things. And then it comes crashing down because it gets taken away. And that was a time that I really leaned into my practice. Yeah. And I think it was January of last year. I don't know. I'm not good with my years.
Neither am I.
Well, whatever.
Because time doesn't exist.
Time doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's a made up.
It is. It's a human construct.
It is.
Yeah.
So whatever. I had the miscarriage and my practice really like helped me, and the yoga training really helped me because it was distracting from all the things that were going on. And then I think I was like in bad shape for a really long time. And I was still doing my practice, doing my things. I can't imagine how it would have been if I didn't have those things. But then I think it was that December of 2020. Yeah, 2020, I guess. I don't know. Whatever, doesn't matter. But before I got pregnant again, I really just like sat down with myself and I was like, you can manifest this. Yeah. Like you can manifest a baby. It may seem crazy, but we can do this. So I think it was like that new year, you did like a vision boarding thing and I had COVID. So I remember I was at home doing it. And from that day, it was New Year's Day. I was like, every morning I just sat down and I wrote, I'm setting an intention for a healthy baby and a healthy pregnancy. And I didn't know much more beyond that. Like, should I manifest a boy? Should I manifest a girl? Mm-hmm. I was like, no, we're just going to manifest a healthy baby because it really didn't matter to me. And then I literally did that every single day. I had like this crazy routine where I listened to like this one song and pick my cards and use my oil and my crystals. And I did it every morning. And I wrote that intention down every morning. And then one morning I was during meditation. This is actually really embarrassing. But I was like, ooh, like my boobs kind of hurt. And I lifted up my shirt in the mirror and I'm like, oh my God, like my nipples look weird. Like what's happening? And then I was like, I think I'm just like going to go and take a pregnancy test, like middle of the meditation.
That's so funny.
So my husband like runs into the bed.
You just knew.
I just knew. My husband runs into the bedroom. He's like face down on the bed. I come out and I'm like, this like look on my face. He's like, are you pregnant? I'm like, I'm pregnant. And then it was like, okay, what do I do? Like, I didn't want to get excited because of what had happened
I was just going to say, yeah.
It takes away having a miscarriage or like any type of pregnancy loss or whatever it might be. Like it really takes away from the first, that same joy wasn't there the first time I found that I was pregnant, if that makes sense. Yes, I was very happy, but I was very scared.
Yeah.
And I wasn't as naive because of what I had went through.
Right.
So then every single day from the day I found out I was pregnant, I set intention for a healthy pregnancy and a healthy baby. And then I used to say the long time son mantra, but at the end I would say, what is it? And may the long time sun shine upon you, may all, and may
the pure light within
you guide your way safely to me.
Aww,
and that's what I would
love
say
that.
every day. And now here we
Aw,
are.
how
He'll be
beautiful.
5 months tomorrow.
Aww.
And I had connected with some people through Evolve that have gone through similar things, and now they are pregnant or they have a baby. So it was really cool to help those women use what I used, and now they're pregnant, and like those types of tools.
Yeah, it's so true. And I work with so many people who either have like fertility issues or just difficulty getting pregnant or going through the loss. And you're always that person that's like in the back of my mind to give other people I work with like that faith and that knowing that like what is destined for you is going to come to you. Mm-hmm. And it is hard because it's a trauma. It's a really big trauma. And I remember like you even released that energy like at the beach, and you had to really get into this space of like being ready to mourning that loss, and then stepping into this space of like, okay, I am ready now to manifest this and bring in, you kept talking about your spirit baby, mm-hmm. attracting your spirit baby. And it's so powerful to be able to go through those emotions, use our breath to be able to heal what's stagnant and what we're holding on to, and then be able to use what we know about manifesting to call in what it is we do want. And you manifested such a beautiful little baby. I love him. He's so sweet.
And I just had a thought. I think that manifesting is very confusing to me in the beginning. And I had bought this like book that I found in A Time for Karma called like Manifesting Made Easy. And it just helps you manifest and makes a simple chart, because I always think you have to be so specific, and you don't. And I think it gets really, when you should really like lean into your practice is when it gets really hard and the manifestation isn't happening. The work is happening and something's happening, but you don't have any results, and that's when you really need to stick to it. Like I swore in November I was pregnant. I was like, oh my God, I see there's 222 and 2727, and I was like 999, all these numbers, and it was like no. And then I got my period in November, and it was like every time I would get it, it was just like the worst feeling. And then all of those things that I saw were just building me up to that moment in February when I found out I was pregnant.
I have chills because I'm so happy you see that. And sometimes as a teacher, it's hard for me to explain that to other people. And you're really embodied in that belief, because I have friends that will call me and be like, I saw all these signs and then I didn't get the job, or whatever it may be that they're setting intention for. And it's like, but you received those signs for a reason. Mm-hmm. There's something the universe is showing you that like it is in the works. And like we said before, there's no such thing as time. We could say like time doesn't exist, or how we've created time is in how the universe works and delivers it to us. So if you are receiving the signs, but you're not seeing that come into fruition yet, like don't give up right before the diamonds is revealed, or whatever it is that you're setting intention for. It's so true. And I'm so glad that you brought that up, because it's like whenever you get a wink or a whisper, it's for a reason. It's never coincidence. There's always a meaning to it. And by leaning into that and having that faith helps you to release resistance so that you could get closer to what you want and enjoy the process. Because if we're sitting there stressing about it, that's just going to block you further.
And I think it's a very exciting but scary process to find out that you're pregnant, right? So you're so excited, you're like, pee on the stick, am I pregnant? Nope, your heart is crushed. Next month, like you build up the same excitement, the same thing happens. Then it finally happens. And then like my thought was just like, I'm carrying around this baby and like he could come at any time. Like, and that was the part of the journey that was so exciting to me, I think, that like knowing at any time anything is possible. So this doesn't just have to do with like pregnancy, just in general.
That's
like
so true.
literally the universe always has your back. And like sometimes when I'm in like a bad place and people say that, I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then I go and I pick like a Gabby Bernstein card and I'm like, oh yes, here we are.
That's such a good point though, because pregnancy is a great metaphor for that. Like one day you literally do not have a child on this earth. It's in, you know, that other realm. And then the next day your life completely changes with like in the most tremendous way. And in pregnancy, of course, we get a warning, right? We're growing, we know we have these symptoms, but it works in life as well. Like you never know when that opportunity is going to come, or that huge change could be literally right around the corner. Your life could change in a moment, in a day. And you know, in every which way. And that's why it's so important to be grounded and in this present moment. That's so special. I commend you so deeply for your consistency. So in the beginning, I saw you like putting in the work literally every morning. Every morning I'd wake up, and sometimes it was earlier than I'd wake up because you would be going to the city to work, and I would have a tag on a story of a beautiful altar and a meditation practice that was happening and tags by Kelly. And now I see you as a mother, and I just like cheer you on because I see you making your green juices every morning. I see you getting your meditation in every single morning, even more now than like I think during your pregnancy, now that you are a mom. And you don't know how many people say to me like, oh, forget about your meditation when you have a baby. Like forget. And I'm like, I actually have a lot of evidence to show you it's possible. Kelly being one of them. So I want you to tell us, how do you stay consistent? Because it's like you are really such evidence to how this practice works, how to tuning in with yourself works, but it's consistency that is key, and practicing every day. And that's why you've been, as you shared, that's why you've been able to like get away from what was and into the now and into where you are right now and healing. So like, how do you stay consistent?
It's really funny that you say that because I think I'm like the least consistent person, like in general at anything. But how do I stay so consistent? So it's my why. I think it's my why because my son, if there's a day that not every meditation every morning is like I sit down with my cards and my crystals and, you know, sometimes it's just like me on the couch covered in spit up.
But you're getting it in.
Yeah, but I'm getting it in. I think it's my son, like, because I know that I show up a much better person after I do those things versus when I don't. And like right after I had him, my husband was like, go meditate. Because I had a lot of postpartum anxiety, which it's to be expected because it was in the very beginning. So like immediately we brought him home and I'm like thinking of all these things that are going to happen. And I'm like, my husband's like, you need to go meditate. And that would, for me, like, that did not look like me sitting down with my crystals and my cards. That was me going outside in the backyard and just sitting there and breathing. Sometimes on my own, sometimes with you, sometimes with someone else. And it was just really, but mainly you, come on. But it was really like, I think that's when my practice like really came, I don't know how to explain it. It's just like, I really needed that I need it to be the best mom that I can be, because not only am I caring for myself, but if I don't care for myself, I can't take care of him.
Right.
And he is the most important thing to me. And I want to show up as a mom that's there, that's patient, that's kind, that's caring, which I can do all those things, but I'm much better when I do those things when I meditate. When I do skip, it's really not a cute look for me. So I try not to. Yeah. It's hard. It's really hard to stay consistent, but I think the most important thing for you to ask yourself is like, why? Right. You know, like, oh, I should just sit down and meditate because I have to because everyone else is doing it. No, because that's what's good for you. And like, some days I feel like that. I'm like, I just need to do this because I have to do it. But I sit there and I close my eyes and I breathe and I'm like, it's like a mental nap as well.
Really.
And it's like a nice break from the world and like all the chatter that goes on in my head 24/7 about like being a mom, because it's hard.
Yeah.
Like I just like, I know my son very well. Once you know your baby, you're good. But it's like, I'm not a schedule person, and because I'm an Aquarius, so I'm very like
free
and most of my houses, no, most of my things are in Aquarius, like in the chart.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And Kat from Elemental said, she's like, I've never seen this before.
That's amazing. That's why I love you so much. I love Aquarius energy. I love it.
But I just think that it's important for you to hold on to your why. Yeah. And it eliminates a lot of the chatter in my head. Like I said, like I'll go from like, okay, like it's 4 hours and 1 minute. Does he need to eat? Should I wait 15 minutes? Like, what if he doesn't sleep 2 hours? What about like all these like things that go on in my head, and the meditation really quiets that for the time that I'm meditating. Yeah. And I really need that.
And it really sets us up after too. Like today, I knew you were coming here at 10:30 to film. I knew that I have those other things going on later. And I just took a moment to ground myself in my meditation today. And I said, everything's going to flow perfectly. I am going to have more than enough time in the day. I was actually ready in time with like 5 minutes to spare before you texted me that you were here. And it's just the intention that we set. So like with all those thoughts running through your head as a mom, as you just shared, you just kind of like take a moment with the universe and surrender it to the universe. Like, listen, you're going to help this flow. You're going to help guide me. I also want to talk about like that energy boost that we get too. Like in those moments where you take a minute to just come to yourself, you're releasing stress, you could see clearly, and you're also like activating that life force energy. And a lot of people in our society, lean on the caffeine or the Adderall or whatever it may be, and we're actually able to trigger that life force energy within ourselves through the breath, which is so powerful. So tell us logistically, like, how do you meditate with a newborn baby?
So
I don't know if he's still a newborn.
No, he's not.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not in the baby world yet. Okay.
I didn't know that until recently.
So
I think it's
like,
only 0 to 3 months.
Logistically, like how do you do that?
So he usually takes like a 2-hour nap in the morning. So the second I put him down, I'll go and I'll do my workout and I'll do my meditation, or I'll flip it. But obviously there are times that he's woken up and he's joined me, or he plays on the mat. For me, it's like I just have to get down there and do it, whether he's awake or whether he's asleep. But I'm very lucky and grateful that he does have a very good sleep schedule, and he sleeps so long in the morning, because that really helps. Yeah. But I do have to return to work in a couple weeks, so I'm very curious to see how this is all going to play out when that happens. Like, I'm going to be like not just a mom, now I'm going to be a working mom. Right. And, I found out recently, like even the movement is just as important for me as meditation. Just like move all that energy through, and like how am I going to do those things when I go back to work? Because I'm not waking up at 4:30 in the morning anymore like I used to back when I was just married, no babies, just 2 pets. So I don't know.
I'm thinking of the quote that it's like I'm gonna botch it, but it's like, if you're a busy person, everyone should meditate for 20 minutes every day. But if you're a busy person, you should meditate for like 40 minutes every day, or whatever it is, because you're going to need it even more. You're going to need it even more. And you're going to find it, whether it's like when you park your car before you walk into the building.
That's what I was doing when I was
or
back in the fall. That's what I was doing. I do it in my classroom with the kids. Sometimes I put you on the smart board.
Yeah, I have people that do that.
It's not as relaxing for me.
I agree, but I do have friends that put me up there on the smart board and they meditate with their kids in the classroom, and it's like however you could get it in.
That's what my classroom is known as, like the calming meditation room. I don't know what it's like now because I'm not there. But we'll see what happens.
I love that you've brought that in and like ripple effect.
And everyone, remember Satan Nama. I had my kids love that. I have a student who graduated. She's in high school now, but she still does it.
I love
and
that.
She takes the iPad. There's like a little cartoon video, and I printed out the image of the cartoon video, and we would put it on the door, and it said like, "Do not disturb, Satan Nama time."
I love
and everyone would just be like, what is that? What's going on?
Yeah, really.
And my principal was like, wow, that's really cool that she could. So now this girl, she would just go, she's like, I need Satan Nama time. And she'd take the iPad, she'd go to the table, and she'd and you just see her with her fingers, and it was like, it was amazing.
Kids are so open and available to this practice. Do you think you're gonna teach Sean?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that.
I think it's really cool for him. He like watches me do yoga, and he's like, my leg goes up, and he's like, how did she just do that? I think it's really cool for him to see those things, because children learn by modeling an example.
Definitely.
And like, I wish I had these things when I was younger. And I think it's like really important for men and boys too. I know it's not like very popular, but like, you know, how much better would the world be if everyone had a little meditation in them?
It's so true.
And like, Sean's like a blank slate. Like, he's like brand new to this world. Like, he's experiencing everything for the first time. And like, he has just like so much light and joy. And like, I just don't ever want that to leave him, you know, because like we get older and we start to worry, and you know, like there's social situations in school, and I just think that if I can teach him these tools, he can use them, and they'd be really beneficial to him.
It's so true.
It's gonna be like interesting to see how he like evolves in that way.
Totally.
Because my husband's not really a big meditator, but you know, I am.
But I also love that he knows when you need it.
Oh,
it's so funny.
He knows before I know.
All the time from people, they're like, my husband just told me to meditate, but I know their husbands don't. But he is open to it.
What did you? I forget. Maybe the Sudarshan Kriya was it called, that we did with the fear.
Yes.
And I was like, being a mother, you have a lot of fear-based thoughts, and like you said something. If you think about a scenario, you have X amount of time.
Yeah, so you have about 7 to 13 seconds before it turns into an emotion.
And then your body thinks it's actually happening.
Yeah.
Which I go down that road a lot, and and that meditation really helps me. And my husband knows about that meditation. It's saved on my phone. He's like, you got to go do your fear-based meditation that Erica taught you, because whatever you're doing right now is not working. I'm like, okay. And whenever I have a fear-based thought, I'm like, I got to go back and do that meditation.
I love that.
I wish you had a video on it though.
I will have to.
Honestly,
that's a really special, potent meditation, and I will bring that to Evolve. It's one of the most powerful ones, and yes, I will definitely bring that, because it's one of, like I said, it's one of the most powerful ones.
And it was very hard when I first started it. And now,
but then you get into a groove, and I think that's like an overall theme with Kundalini. At first, it is hard. It's uncomfortable because it's so different, and what I've found is that in those moments where I'm uncomfortable on my mat, I find comfort through my breath. I find strength through my breath. And then I take that with me in life. So people will say, like my mom will be like, how are you so calm right now? How are you so go with the flow? This would like trigger the crap out of you in the past. And I'm like, no, this is not, like, your whole perspective just completely changes after this practice.
And I think like, obviously if you're living, you always have your breath, and like you won't, you could leave the house, not always have your medication, you could not, but your breath you always have. And
so true.
And like, I'm sure people are like, oh, your breath, like, no, it works. You need to know it works. And I got like several people onto you in your practice, and they're like, oh my God, like, how did I just, you can literally manifest anything, and just ask the universe for help. I just ask out loud.
Literally.
And I asked her last March, I was like, we need to move. Please find us a new house. We need help. I went out walking later with my friend, and then the realtor texted me that afternoon. She's like, I have the perfect house for you. And that's the house we live in now.
I believe in it so much, because there is such magic in surrendering.
Which is so
speaking
hard.
It to the universe, not just saying like, I want blank. It's like, no, believe that there's a greater power, whether it's the universe, whether it's God, whether it's divine energy, whether it's the law of attraction, whatever it is, magic, I don't care what you call it. When you start to believe that there's something greater, and you speak to that, and you just say, like, you say what you want, and you know that by saying it, you're going to get the help and assistance you need. It just starts to happen.
That was really crazy. I was like, please just help me. I need your help. And all of a sudden it happened. I was like, holy, like.
And this could be every area in life. Like I've done it with outfits.
Yeah.
I've done it with.
I find like asking the universe out loud works a lot quicker for me than me like sitting down and like. Because then I'm like, what should I ask for? What do I need to manifest next?
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't know.
Simple, easy. In that moment, just say what it is you need. Or if there's like weird energy between you and another person, or something that's unresolved, or like I said, something as silly or little as like an outfit or a product that you need. Like sometimes I'm like not a researcher at all. I get very overwhelmed with like looking at all the different options and then purchasing, and I'll just say, universe, like deliver me what I need, and then I'll get an ad or I'll get whatever
Maybe
it is that I
teach
need.
my husband that, because he's so indecisive that
he's a Libra too, right?
Yes, and he ends up nothing is purchased because he reads the reviews, and I'm like, can we just pick this?
I don't even get to the reviews because I'm overwhelmed already.
Either.
That's why I like don't online shop. That's why I need a lot of clothes.
I just like know what I want when I see it, and I've always been that way. So I think that is like, I'm very decisive in that sense. But this practice really works. We should try it.
I'm so grateful for you. Are there any like last thoughts that you want to leave with, whether like it's a new mother who's trying to develop her meditation practice or just anyone that has trouble with consistency? Is there any last final thought you'd like to share?
This has nothing, well, kind of has something to do with it. But if you're trying to get pregnant, surrender. I don't know how I did it. You will just do it. Other people have done it. You just need to do it. I cannot explain to you how. I feel like surrender is the hardest thing to explain.
Huge. It's a very hard
It really
thing.
is.
Just trusting.
But if any new moms are looking, to get into their practice more and like be more consistent, it's just like the second you put that baby down to take a nap, even if you do it like by the crib, just sit down on the floor. Yeah. Even if it's like 2 minutes, 1 minute, and then over time, like this guy wasn't only sleeping 2 hours in the morning. Like it took a while to get there, and there was a while that it didn't look so pretty, but I still did it. And meditation isn't about like doing it when everything's going in your favor or when everything's going wrong. It's about doing it every day, or as much as you need to, as many times a day as you need to get back to yourself, to just know like, if I don't do this, I'm not going to show up as my best self. Yeah. And we don't always have time. We can't always do it, but you can squeeze it in somehow.
Yeah, somehow, some way.
Yeah, it doesn't have to look pretty either.
Right.
I mean, it looks pretty from what you see, but you don't see I'm like covered in spit up and applesauce and, but it works, and it I really need it. Yeah. And I think like everyone can benefit from it. Like even my kids in my classroom, like they have autism, Down syndrome, and they benefit from so much. Yeah. And they look forward to it. Like, can we do meditation? So and you have to make it like fun for yourself too. You can't, buy some crystals, get some oils. The cards are fun. Yeah. Maybe like
make it special.
Yeah.
Romanticize it if you want. Yeah.
Because if you don't take care of you, how are you going to take care of your kids or your spouse or, anyone?
So true.
Your family.
Thank you so much for being here. Thanks. I'm so grateful.
I feel
for
really
your
cool
light.
Being on here today.
You're so cute. I'm so grateful for all the ripple effects that you've created in so many ways. You're such a special person. I'm so grateful to have you as a friend.
I'm so grateful for you and that our paths crossed.
Me too.
I wish I said hi and baked by the ocean that day, but here we are now.
But see, we're always, no matter what, you're going to be aligned with who you were meant to. Thank you guys so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Let us know, repost and share to any moms or just anyone who could use any of the messages that Kelly shared so much wisdom today. So thank you so much for being here, and we'll end with the longtime sun.
Perfect.
May the longtime sun shine upon you. May all love surround you, and may the pure light within you guide your way on. Satnam.
Thank you.
Thank you.